For those of you who don't know me, I'm Gi Gi. I am a women's embodiment and empowerment mentor, and I really support women to come home into their bodies, to feel powerful in their bodies, and to know the innate wisdom that they hold in their bodies, and really kind of come alive with that knowledge and to know more about who you are. And we are stepping into this Aquarian time, which is all about kind of knowing who we are, and also doing that together in community. And I am having a wonderful conversation with Claire.
Hello, yeah, I'm Claire and I'm an astrologer, and I'm a shamanic healer, and I work with both men and women, but mostly guide people back to nature and really, yeah, help people find harmony. And I was really drawn to Gi Gi like a couple of years ago, and the kind of threads hadn't really weaved as to why, and kind of today, like connecting and realizing we had a lot in common, which we'll go into in a minute. But really, we were talking the last couple of weeks just about how much of a powerful time we're in astrologically, and whether you follow astrology or somatic practice, like they're so interconnected. And like you were saying, like this is the time we're coming into of like not just realizing our connections with one another, but like the interconnectedness of everything. Like it's not one modality that's separate to another. It's like how it's big, isn't it? So we're here talking about it.
I know, I love that you just made that point clearer, because astrology for me has always been a body thing. Like I feel it. I feel the astrology. It's intuitive. I've always felt intuitively, oh yeah, that is something I know as truth in my body, rather than it being something intellectual or that I'm learning that someone tells me just because your sun is in Capricorn, this means this. I feel it as a part of me in my body, and an inner standing, like an understanding in me. And why I've always been so drawn to astrology is because of that very thing. It's not just separate from how we live our day to day, or how we experience our emotional landscapes, and mental and spiritual landscapes. It's all very connected. And that's why I actually really love normally doing a bit of somatic work with astrology. I think it works really beautifully together to like actually just get into your body and like make yourself available to receive the information, just not just intellectually, but through your whole body. So I'm almost feel like I want to invite everyone who's listening just to kind of tune in with your body before we start talking, and just kind of move out anything that you might be holding on to, any resistance, and just allowing yourself to soften. Just deep it into your heart and your belly, and soften down deep into your roots, into your legs, into your feet, into your connection to the earth. And feel that full channel reaching deep down into the earth, and all the way up to the top of your head and into the cosmos, and just that full experience that we're talking about with being connected to everything. And that we are channels of so much wisdom, and so much beauty, that it is all really available to us. And that's really empowering. Yeah. Oh, already it feels more expansive just doing that. Kind of letting go of the mental chatter and just expanding into the fullness, the wholeness of self. Yeah, I would love actually to to maybe speak a little bit more about the Pluto shift, as we've just kind of started
Mm.
from Capricorn into Aquarius. And is it on the 19th of November or somewhere like the 19th?
Yeah, so next Tuesday, at like in the UK time, it's like 22:20. So it's end of the evening. And yeah, as many of you probably know, or maybe you don't, like I really love what you shared about like doing it like bottom up, like kind of, oh, that's funny when we're talking about Uranus. And now we were talking earlier about me pronouncing Uranus, but actually, you know, comedy is so important in like these realms of serious hard work, but it doesn't have to be. It can be light and jovial and playful. But yeah, sorry. The
Bottom up. I love how you're really good at linking those things together as well. I think that that's your speciality of comedy.
oh, is it? Oh, look, yeah. It's like that, and I could point to why that is in the chart, but that's another conversation with Scorpio. But kind of going back to yeah, where we're at with Pluto, like, and what you were saying is like getting into the body is like the most important thing when it comes to astrology and everything. But within this conversation, like, and that's how I learned with my amazing teacher Virginia Rosenberg as intuitive astrology. So really like beautifully and slowly we like worked with each element before we worked with the next with each planet, and like we felt it, we danced with it, we embodied it, and it was yeah, one of the most beautiful year of my life, apart from having a daughter since. Very different. I tried to put that one in there in case she listens in years to come, like,
And you're like,
yeah.
wait a minute.
But yeah, we are, it's so important, like whatever I'm about to share, like that's my insight and like things that I've felt into, but like there is no right or wrong. There is like, it's our experience, it's like the way we feel, our connection to the planets, and like I feel like that enormously is what we're moving away from. So Pluto rules like collective psyche, it's generational. So each Pluto, each time there's Pluto's in a sign, it's like the generation that we're in, and which you can find when you look online. Like Pluto in Sagittarius is one generation, and Scorpio is a different one. And yeah, we're closing out the 16-year cycle. So that began in 2008. And depending on where Capricorn is in your chart, what other planets it is, but that's very technical, like just down to the raw roots of like how it's felt for you. That's the most important, like where we've been, with regards to like giving our power away, authority, like yeah, the way we, like for myself, losing myself in chasing someone else's idea of success, or institutions that don't support everyone. I was going to say marginalized groups, but like that seems to be like everyone. It's like a system that doesn't support humanity, and like so this is big. Like I've heard that so many times before in the last couple of years, because the astrology has been wild, hasn't it, with the amount that, but Pluto and Capricorn's been a big part of that. And now closing this out on Tuesday, like there is definitely a part of me and a part of others that have shared this, like wanting it to like, right, cool. On the 20th, we're like good to go. Let's have like a big party. Aquarius is very like progressive and open-minded, and like the community's just going to be there like, I love.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. But yeah, it takes, as we've seen since 2008, or felt if you look back, like how much we've changed and transformed, and why we're maybe feeling this intensity now is like we're at the like final degree, 29 degrees of Capricorn. So it's like showing you the medicine of this struggle. It's showing, and anyone with cardinal signs like are impacted like everyone is, but like impacted more, so like Capricorn, Cancer, Aries and Libra, like just so looking forward to the, like, I want to say what's beyond, but we were talking about this earlier on, weren't we, about Aquarius being the bridge, and actually like we're not headed somewhere, like we're creating that place we're headed. And I could go on and on and on, but maybe
That does feel like an important point, doesn't it, of the Aquarian energy of like being this expansive space of community that we are feeling really called to, in whatever way we will be feeling called to, you know, deeper community or understanding of other people, less about the I and more about the where are they coming from and how can I support that. And it is so important for us to remember that we are the ones creating that, and through our embodiment of those questions around community, we can help to make it easier for, more easeful for ourselves and each other. And one actual question that we talked about before this call was how to work with technology and also more in-person experiences. So how can we balance both? Because I feel like, you know, technology and the fact that we can do this right now and connect with each other has been so powerful and so necessary for us to all share information. And the pace at which we've sort of been, you know, awakening, and our awareness has, you know, expanded, and our consciousness has been, you know, really shifting, and our vibration has been rising. It's been so powerful to connect people and to really help each other in that way. But now it feels like we're coming to the point where it's this new question of how can we allow this technology that has helped us a lot to keep helping us, but where can we bring in more balance to, you know, community living and what's right in front of us, what's right in front of me and what's right in front of you, like who are the people around me in my community, how can I, you know, connect with them on a very, again, a physical level. Like we need to feel that sense of belonging and that sense of tending to our immediate environment. And I feel like that question is really exciting. That it's like me being an Aquarius rising, I'm like, this is the question I've been waiting for my whole life. Is how do we bridge those things, and how do we allow the technology to expand our community experience, and how can we let our community experience expand our, you know, technological experience. And just really kind of embracing that question and the curiosity. I feel like curiosity has been a word that's come in a lot for me over the last couple of years, like staying curious, being curious, not needing to know, which I feel like was Capricorn and Pluto. I need to know. I need to know everything. I need to know how to get from A to B. I need to know every tiny step to take to get there. And now the Aquarius is more, I'm curious to know, like, how is the best way to get there, and what influences do I need to absorb? What information am I drawn to? What, you know, people and communities are going to inspire me? It just feels very inclusive rather than how do I get from A to Z? It's how do we kind of all, you know, become more openly creative around that as well. Let's explore together. Let's have these conversations.
And like there's such magic in that, like you touching there on like this like connection, and we're closing out the nodal axis of the north node, so being what we're working towards, and like in Aries, and then south node, which is like what we were letting go of the last 18 months or 16 months, and it's up until January. Letting go of worn out connections and friendships, partnerships, and that doesn't, you know, that aren't aligned anymore, and that doesn't even necessarily mean only in like human form. Like I've seen that play out in like ideologies, or like different deities that I've connected to that I don't resonate, or just ways of relating. That's what this been about. So like moving forward, like I really feel like we're in this time of like deep as well, autumn and winter, like reflecting on like where are we headed, and like the power of our ability, like you say, to create. And I really keep hearing and feeling this sense like Capricorn, as much as there can be in like pop astrology, and even myself, like I catch myself being like, cannot wait to get to Aquarius, but it's like that's not what Pluto wants. Pluto wants us to like the rising phoenix, to have like you've come from somewhere, like something built that bridge, like look back and be like, what was the medicine from it? Like Capricorn can be very like patriarchal, but it can also be like the wise matriarch that wasn't supported in these systems because she's so powerful, which is so like centered around your work, your like really important work. Like, and we were talking about this earlier about like support systems, and when we don't feel supported, that can partly be why often we strive for someone else's way of success, or we just go slot ourselves in. Whereas the Aquarian, as you shared, and I love this about Aquarius energy, is like willing to be different, willing to like trailblaze, like and it is out of this world in lots of ways. It's like it is cosmic, isn't it? And I just find it really, as we talk about this now, like tomorrow with the full moon in Taurus, this is the last supermoon of the year, isn't it? It's right on Uranus or Uranus.
Right on your back end, everyone.
The moon is shining. Yeah. It's a perfect opportunity to pull a moonie, but don't get arrested. No responsibility here. No, it's the moon is with Uranus, and Uranus is is the sign that is best with Aquarius. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. So it feels so like interconnected, like this Taurus perhaps is more like stable and slow and sensual and embodiment and worth, and then Uranus is like this like radical, I feel like this axis of Leo and Aquarius are more similar, like all the opposite signs are more similar than we realize, aren't they? They're dancing between the two, but this like radical, playful, like let's just go along for the ride. There's this like let's try things. So that can feel chaotic.
Yeah.
And that does feel chaotic.
It does. It does, doesn't it? And also that you sort of get, this is something I said to a friend the other day, you get used to the struggle. But on a collective level, the collective has to really be sort of constantly like fighting. There's just been this sense of like fighting and struggle and pushing and just like really connecting with the deep sort of courage within us. I feel like everyone on the planet has been really having to be very courageous on some level and really dig very deep. And I feel like Aquarius energy will bring in that lightness of not needing to struggle because we're leaning into community more. But that's going to feel like really weird and disorientating to start with, because we've been in this sense of like pushing for the things that we want, like making it happen, just like on the treadmill kind of energy. And it's going to take, awareness and nourishment to really bring ourselves into a new way of being, with regards to community and leaning in. And we also talked about how difficult women find leaning in to community and leaning into each other and actually believing that there's support there because of the inherited ancestral wounding that we've, you know, taken on in our DNA around not really feeling held.
Mhm. And kind of the way we touched earlier on about the last time obviously Pluto went into Capricorn in 2008, and that was the cycle that we're closing out. But on a like a wider level, like the last time that, well, the time that Pluto went into Capricorn was like in the 1700s. So this is so like deeply ancestral. Like this is when a planet's at 29 degrees, like closing out, like we're feeling it at its like most potent, you know. And it's Capricorn is also the bones, and I have aching bones a lot lately.
At the moment, for sure, yeah.
And like just feeling like the weight and the heaviness, and kind of the last week or so, like as opposed to just regulating my nervous system in ways when I can, aside from having a 6-month-old daughter. I've really, we were saying this earlier about moving the body and like moving that energy, and I feel like that's got louder as well with Uranus and Taurus, like this, that it's retrograde at the minute, so it's more inward. It's like, let's make some inner changes. Let's like reflect on the body and how we're experiencing this life. And yeah, it's feeling big, like this potent energy today and tomorrow. And like you were saying, I think it's really important to bring that light, playful, energy that Uranus can be. That's like, we're not going to change by being like over analyzing or like staying. And that can feel quite a contrast between like Uranus and Taurus. It's been there since 2018, and I don't know you've reflected on that, but there's a lot has happened in my life, and a lot of people I've spoken to around the transit of Uranus and Taurus, like about how we view our worth and how we look after our body and the earth. And feel like that medicine alongside like the earthliness of Capricorn is like what we need to bring with us. And you were saying then about like the hope and the excitement about Aquarius. I like, it's the visionary, isn't it? It's like the world is heavy right now. It's a lot is up in the body. It's a lot has come up. And I guess kind of for myself and a few others I've spoken to, like, you can't go back to the way that the tools that helped before, because we're in something new. It's like that's why you need community.
Yeah.
That's why
you need those conversations as well, because we work it out together. That's what happens, isn't it? That's what happens when we're in conversation, we're working stuff out together.
It's been a long 16 years.
Yeah, I know. And it is so important to have these spaces that you can work these things out together and have like-minded people, which is why, you know, that's something I feel so passionate about. And where actually the Rewilding Circle, which I will just talk about, is a program that I'm running that has both the women's circle element and your own self-paced sessions of somatic healing and embodiment. So it's like empowering self and empowering community, and how that, I feel like, is a really beautiful way to work. And really, coming into that kind of almost the fullness of self and community, not one or the other. Like,
not separate.
No, like when I'm in the fullness of myself, doing the things that make me feel really good, it benefits everyone else. And then when I'm stepping into community to share the things that, you know, maybe I can't figure out on my own, I think we need to just come to terms with that. It's not everything that we can figure out on our own. We can figure it out together.
Mm.
And that then feeds me. It all feeds each other, doesn't it?
And yeah, and like how just I remember someone saying once, like, it takes all sorts of people to make a world. And I know they were being sarcastic at the time, but that was such medicine for me to hear, like, oh my God, like, it's so true. Like, and just the enormity of, I guess, in lots of ways, like this change of how community shows up now. It's not going back to a way that, we've been told it is, or I don't know if you've experienced this, but I personally have experienced like my own pressure and sometimes on like the social media kind of wellness, spiritual world, like of like it being a certain way and looking a certain way, but it doesn't have to. And I think there can be real barriers to like accessibility for, and I don't mean just accessibility, I mean sort of like confidence, like as if we were talking about this earlier, like not being the cool one or not being that like I felt like I wasn't at school, and like we're all needed in the
Yeah.
circle. That's what I find incredible about your work, is like how it's like rewilding doesn't look a certain way.
My Aquarius nature just loves that. It's like, yes, you got it. It doesn't. It's different for everyone.
Yeah, and like that, I suppose, and what I kind of think is so beautiful is like how, yeah, because you have strong Aquarius placements and I have my moon in Leo, and like just feeling this sense of um the fixedness of them is like can be hard to then have been in such a like a cardinal like direction that we've been in with Pluto, like that breath of fresh air that we're coming into. Obviously with Pluto, all there'll be challenges as there always are, and I don't know how it will look. I'm not saying I am. I don't know why I just had this like argument in my head that like you don't know. Yes, anyway.
I think that is exactly what we were just talking about in community. You can't,
Yeah,
our brain just wants to figure out the whole thing on our
yeah.
own, going, yeah, no, you can't, yeah, you can, no, you can't, no, you can't. You're just like, let it go.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Have that external also conversation with
Mm,
someone else, because that person mirrors back to you things that we can't
absolutely.
figure out on our internal in our internal dialogue. And I really feel that feels really important, because people who
Mm,
feel, and at times I've definitely felt like this, alone in your struggle or alone in the thing that you're trying to figure out.
mm,
Um, and just really opening that up and saying you're actually never alone, never alone.
mm,
And to really have a space where you can externalize, go and
mm,
this is what I'm experiencing. Can you help? It's
mm.
amazing how much people love to help as well. Like when you do
It,
that,
yeah,
you think, oh no, no one's going to want to help. No one's going to want to like show up for me, and it's actually not true.
absolutely. And there's so much in that, like the isolation piece and like the voices or the inherited pain or society, whatever, that is like, I don't know, what be it me myself being nervous to like come and do this live, even though we're not doing it live, but like doing this is like actually having a conversation and having someone mirror back, you know, that they really get it. Like you just said, you see it, you see what I'm about. Like we don't get that on our own, do we? There's like there's because we're not supposed to be alone. We're not supposed to be in isolation, and um, that's been such a like a flaw, I guess, of a lot of the systems being created under Pluto and Capricorn, of that lone wolf, the like climbing up the mountain and then being like, oh, this isn't even the mountain I wanted to be up. Like me joining the army and being like, well, I don't actually agree with any of this. Oh no, I'm stuck here. And that I feel like that kind of wool has been pulled from our eyes now. We're like, whoa, like really disorientating. Like who are we? Like what? Why I'm surrounded by all these things that don't necessarily resonate, and then yeah, like, and then finding that healing in finding that other people are experiencing the same is beyond anything, isn't it?
Oh, it's huge.
Mm.
It's so beautiful also to hear you sharing about that, and to actually hear you sharing about that in real time of, you know,
Mm.
uh, having a conversation or whatever it is that we
Mm.
have fears as individuals all the time that
Mm.
don't voice,
Mm.
that we don't think are, welcome to voice. And I think that is the part that then gets pushed into the shadows, doesn't it?
Mm.
I can't share this fear that I'm having, so I just need to push it down. And then it will manifest into something, that then affects you, affects your life in some way, because you haven't been able to voice my voice is my voice is clearing. You haven't been able to voice that. And how we really move through that feeling of isolation and depression and the things that then come up when we're pushing, our feelings down, is by sharing them, is by connecting to them, is by not fearing them, is realizing that they're actually part of us, and they're teaching us, that they're asking us to lean in to other people, to connect us. And that is only going to be a positive thing for us. But this narrative that we have, that it's going to be bad if you tell someone that you're worried about something, I feel like that is so ready to be dissolved. That is very ancestral, actually, isn't it? That feels like that's really big clearing work doing, and that we're ready to really do more of now, is let go of those beliefs around sharing our vulnerabilities and our worries and our fears, and realizing that that's part of also how we move forward. We can't move forward without acknowledging.
And like how much in the system, how much there wasn't supposed time for that, or whatever it was. I just so happened to be holding, like, I've realized that you posted about this. Sorry, very ADHD brain. I just got like distracted by this. We were just talking then about like the vulnerability and like the raw. Is that Venus of?
Yes.
Yeah, Waldendorf, or I just made that up. Waldorf salad. She loves her walnuts. Sorry.
So funny that you did the same thing that I do. I'm like, Waldorf salad? This is ADHD brains together.
This is Aquarius.
This is funny. That's what it is. It's like you're already saying what I'm thinking, and it's funny because, yeah, I think it is. Whoa.
I think she just appreciates us talking about. Yeah, but now I've forgotten what we were talking about because I got distracted. Oh yeah, being the vulnerability and like just how like enormously yeah, that fear, because it hasn't been shown. Maybe some people have had that in their life, but like on the whole, in our society and across the world, like how much that's not demonstrated, and how like vulnerability has been seen as weak rather than such a power. And like that's a whole other like thread, like that, oh, that burns in my womb to like shout from the rooftops. And maybe that's the Aquarius coming in and being like this needs, like, people, we need to speak up. And that yeah, and I don't know, I feel this real urge to say this now, like I've met some incredible people like doing astrology, or like while I was training doing this shamanic healing training, and like especially people who came when I was learning, there was like this softening of people because they were, like you say, willing to help. They were like, I'm really helping, and yet sometimes I feel like people I meet, they're like, oh, I don't know much. I don't know much about astrology. I don't know much about somatics, and I'm like, oh, that's not the way I work. Like, I guess I don't know if this is part of my nature, and I have seen parts in astrology that are like that, but all my fire, I guess, like I just jump straight in and I like burn bright, and then I'm like, I want other people to burn bright too. Like, so there's this part of me that's like, everyone can have access, like everyone can do this. Everyone, it's in your bones. So I don't know, I felt to speak to that if anyone's watching that's like, I don't know much about astrology or this, and then it's like we all do. And I know that's a big part of your work. Um, but
Yeah,
we had lost that, hadn't we? Of like trusting our own wisdom.
yeah, yeah, such a big one. That's so important to bring that to light, because we all do know, as you said, we've just been taught that we don't know. So therefore we think we don't know, but we do. It's seeped into everything. And when we connect with the everythingness of our bodies and, really the wholeness, and we stop telling ourselves we don't know, that's when the wisdom arises, because we give it space to arise. And it's really it's just really a joy, such a joy to be exploring this work and to be having these conversations as well, and to really know that, it's all very enriching for me, for you, for anyone who watches this. We're really experiencing life in real time, that whole idea of like, what's the outcome of this? Or is this going to be successful? How many people are going to watch this? It's like, no, the whole thing is happening immediately now for our experience. And anyone else who, watches this in the future, is going to be, extra goodness.
And that, like you touched on a lot before about that collaborative essence of Aquarius. Like, it's not like Capricorn can be the consumer, the like us and them, the like the pedestaled person, the teacher, but maybe like kind of vibe. But now it's like everyone's essence like is a part of this, like every interaction, that I think that's so important. Um yeah, it's incredible really, isn't it? Like, I lost my thread then because I was just thinking how incredible it is to talk about this. And like, it's such a blessing, isn't it, to be, like you say, like present, because I've really struggled with that. Coming out of like having a baby and whatever circumstances we're in, they're the details, but actually on the whole, like, I find Taurus energy, I have Venus in Taurus, so like I find I've never really struggled to be present and in my like sensual and like really with the senses and the flavors, and yeah, this since 2018, like I'm seeing that theme of like it's so much change, and um yeah, I just find it the grounding essence of like my medicine is with the trees. Like the beech tree lately, it's just like held me and said like just be with the beach. And so when I can't get there because baby's crying or whatever, I just call on the beach to be with me. And I think we've complicated it. We've complicated, like I can't do this because I can't get there or I can't afford it or whatever story we hold. I feel like Pluto going into 29 degrees was like, nah, no excuse, bitch. Like, Don't wait till you can afford a fancy beach necklace. Go ask if you can have a branch off the tree. Chill out. I was like, oh, it's that simple, isn't it?
Yeah, get creative as well. There's not just one answer. There's
No,
plenty.
it's incredible.
Oh, I love that.
I knew I'd go off talking about the trees.
No, I love it. I love trees. When I hear talking about the trees, I just connect with all of my favorite trees, and I work a lot with the trees, so they are amazing. And as you know, it's so true. We can, if we don't even have the availability to go out and visit them, we can still connect with them.
Mm,
Like just now, oh, I'm with the trees that support me, and we have the
mm,
power to welcome that in. There are no barriers.
And that, like, obviously there are when it comes to like spiritual practice, and I feel like Saturn at the minute being in Pisces is a big part of this, of like, yeah, like there is a need to protect ourselves and be discerning when it comes to spirituality and spaces that we put our energy into, but ultimately, like, and working around fears around that, but ultimately, like, we're connected to everything, aren't we? So this essence of like, yeah, not needing to do it right, like it's a messy human experience, like before coming on this call, like, oh, what should I plan? Should I have anything planned out? And it's like that life doesn't work like that, does it? You can have plans, but it's not that structured, is it? Life and this call.
No, I'm like, nope. Love a good bit of structure, and then I like to shit all over it.
It's Uranus.
It's keep bringing it back round. We're good at it. We're a good duo. That's hilarious. I think that is a great place to end at the
Yes.
bottom again.
Yeah, at the root.
Thank you so much, Claire. That was really fun. Um, and thank you anyone who and everyone who watches this. And if you have any questions, just let us know, comment below, contact either of us. And yeah, let's rock on into just a real sense of curiosity and what is possible and not needing to know everything.
A woman.
A woman. Love that. Oh, bye.
Bye.